Without further ado, this is Amateur Radio Newsline.
Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2382 with the release date of Friday, June 23rd, 2023 to follow in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. The following is a QST. Hams get on the air as a cyclone hits India. The FCC systems go back online and get ready to chase the 13 colonies special event stations. All this and more as Amateur Radio Newsline report number 2382 comes your way right now.
From around the world, this is Newsline, Amateur Radio's first independent, on-the-air news and bulletin service. Now, reporting from Wadsworth, Ohio, Stephen Kinford, N8WB.
Our top story takes us to India, where hams played a crucial role in public safety and communication as a cyclone enveloped the region. More on that from Jim Meachin's VL2 VHF.
Amateur radio operators in western India were deployed and kept on high alert as Cyclone Biparjoy closed in on the western shore near the port of Jakhal on Thursday, June 15, tearing roofs of houses and leaving thousands without power. The local news reports from the Indian state of Gujarat said that the state's Disaster Management Authority responded to power outages and other damage by deploying 6 ham radio teams, 2 of them in the district near the port of Jakhal, as well as a number of mobile units. Pakistan and India had already moved an estimated 173,000 people to shelters in preparation for the storm's arrival. The deadly cyclone killed at least 2 people in India before weakening and heading towards Pakistan's southern coastal areas. The name of the cyclone, Biparjoy, means disaster in Bengali. This is Jim Meachin, ZL2BHF.
In the United States, the FCC reported an end to the long shutdown of some of its systems, much to the relief of hams and others needing to file documents. Paul Brown, WD9GCL, brings us that report.
The Federal Communications Commission's nearly month-long outage of its universal licensing system and related systems has ended. The systems came back online on a limited basis on Wednesday, June 21st. A public announcement by the FCC alerted users to the remaining unavailability of the system's query download function, which permits search results to be saved as text files. The shutdown put the brakes on amateur radio filings and other FCC applications that were facing immediate deadlines, causing widespread frustration and much wider speculation as to the cause behind the shutdown. The FCC's public announcement did not address the cause, and despite repeated requests from Amateur Radio Newsline to clarify what had occurred, the agency referred only to the announcement on the website. The announcement cited, quote, technical issues, end quote. It was not possible to determine specifically where those issues occurred or why they occurred, and whether there had been a security breach or if any presumed built-in redundancies failed to operate properly. The FCC said it has provided deadline extensions for filings that were affected by the shutdown and that it expects high traffic on its systems in the days to come. Those ULS applications that were impacted will not need to pay waiver fees, seek waivers, or provide any special attachments. The FCC said that the deadline extensions and other relief measures only apply to those filings between the outage period of June 9th through June 29th. This is Paul Brown, WD9GCO.
The World Radio Sport Team Championship, which is about to open shortly near Bologna, Italy, has gained the official patronage and support of the Ministry of Enterprises and the Made in Italy initiative. The competition is being held in a region of Italy known as an economic engine because of the strength of its business ventures in technology and craftsmanship. This recognition adds a much-needed boost following the devastating floods that swept the region, challenging the organizers of the event, which takes place on July 4th through July 11th. It's a historic milestone for an on-air event that celebrates America's revolutionary past. Amateur Radio Newsline Mark Abramovich, NP3V, has the story.
It's back and marking its 15th year on the ham bands. It's the annual 13 Colony special event running this year from July 1st to July 7th. Bob Judgewhite, WA3PZO, is coordinator for WM3PEN, a special call sign activated from the Cradle of Liberty in Philadelphia.
It's a relatively easy event for many people to operate, just making contact with one or more of the 13 special event stations in each of the 13 colonies. Plus, we've added in, over the years, 3 bonus stations, WM3PEN in Philadelphia, GB13COL in England, and recently TM13COL in France.
Josh White says activity during the 13 colony special event has been climbing rapidly in recent years, and there were some occasional pileups, so you may need a little patience and persistence to get through.
Last year we were well over a 250,000 contacts for all the stations combined, and for WM3PEN back in 2013, I believe it was, we were just around 3,000 contacts. Last year we were closer to 13,000.
There's a special certificate offered to operators working the event, and each of the groups running stations in the original 13 colonies has special QSL cards tied to this year's theme surrounding the signers of the Declaration of Independence.
We'll be on all modes at different times. HF, the satellites, we'll have some SFTV. Best thing to do is watch the various monitoring networks such as DX Summit. There's a 13 colonies Facebook page which people can monitor as well.
Josh White says you don't have to be a contester to work the stations. He says the operators at each station realize how much interest there is. Many, Josh White says, will be operating long hours, even on the 4th of July holiday, to make sure every station they can work gets into the log. For a link to the group's website, go to the text version of this story published on our website, arnewsline.org. I'm Mark Abramovich, NT3V.
The challenge is on Are You Up To It? The European Space Agency and S5 Lab are inviting hams around the world to get involved in making a special contact through the digipeater of an educational CubeSat known as LEDSat. Neil Repp, WB9VPG, tells us how to get involved.
LEDSat, an LED CubeSat developed by university students in Rome with assistance from AMSAT Italia, was created primarily to demonstrate an LED-based payload to be used with ground-based optical tracking. Starting on June 26th and through to July 30th, it takes on a secondary purpose. It is part of a challenge to hams that will win them the prize of a personalized QSL card designed just for this competition. Hams are being asked to send a digital message via satellite to PI9ESA, the ground station of the ESA's Education Office. The CubeSat follows a sun-synchronous orbit, and its digipeater will be activated at certain times. It has 2 communication windows, one around midday and one around midnight. Operators will be based at the ESA ground station to copy the messages. Hams are encouraged to use their preferred pass prediction software to assist in the contact. LEDSat's digipeater has the ability to store and forward digital messages with a delay of up to 2 days. For details about frequencies being used and other procedures of the operation, visit the ESA website at esa.int and search for LEDSat. The challenge was organized to celebrate the launch of LEDSat in August of 2021.
The Chief Executive Officer of iFixit, a business that provides toolkits and repair guides for do-it-yourselfers, distinguished himself on the California campus of his alma mater recently. Kyle Weens, who graduated from California Polytechnic State University, took his ham radio license exam under the watchful eye of volunteer examiners from the Cal Poly Amateur Radio Club, W6BHZ. He passed, becoming the newest licensee, number 2000. It was a different kind of graduation for Kyle, who founded his company with a friend in a campus dorm room in 2003 while he was still a student at Cal Poly. 6 years later, in 2009, the on-campus amateur radio club began offering license exams for students and the public. According to an article on the club's website, Kyle wasn't the only one from iFixit to claim newfound status as a licensee. Several members of the iFixit team were also there and passed right along with the boss. Time for you to identify your station. We are the amateur radio Newsline, heard on bulletin stations around the world, including the KD2SL repeater in Syracuse, New York at 8 p.m., following the Monday Night Hobby and Information Net. Japan's Ham Fair continues to be the largest ham fest in the world, and the Japan Amateur Radio League has high hopes that at the 2023 event, visitors will enjoy a new era in amateur radio this coming August. In fact, That new era is the very theme of the two-day event, August 20th and 21st at Tokyo's Big Sight Convention Center. This will be the 45th year for the league's ham fair, which was canceled in 2021 due to concerns about the pandemic. Before Japan's ham fair, however, the weekend of the release of this newscast, Europe's largest ham fest, the 46th ham radio event in Friedrichshafen, was getting underway in the new Messe Expo Center. In Washington, D.C., the FCC's policy on wideband devices has once again responded to changes in the market. We have details from Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
The FCC's policy concerning ultra-wideband devices appears to be broadening to allow for expanded growth in the way that technology is used, according to a recent report. A June 13th posting written by Venable LLC and posted on the website jdsupra.com noted that the agency granted a waiver of Part 15 rules to the Schlage Lock Company LLC to enable the security firm to put one of its ultra-wideband home security locks on the market. The report said it was the first waiver of its kind to be granted this year, but the action appears to show that the FCC is continuing on a 20-year trajectory to relax its permissions for ultra-wideband technology. Nearly 20 such waivers have been granted over the years for this unlicensed use of low-power RF signals, generally employed for security uses, medical imaging, and even robotic lawnmowers. The Schlage Company made the request on behalf of its residential door locks, which make use of ultra-wideband signals in combination with Bluetooth. The website's report notes that the Commission bases its approval of a waiver request if it determines licensed radio services would not face harmful interference when such a device is in use. The Commission's Office of Engineering and Technology concluded there was a low likelihood of harmful interference in this case, especially with transmissions taking place in a small space relatively close to the ground. The Venable article did say, however, that the FCC has not indicated it was considering a policy change or any kind of overall update. This is Kent Peterson, KC0 DGY.
Are you enjoying Newsline's weekly ham radio haiku? Join our challenge. We're inviting listeners to share the joy of amateur radio in the form of a haiku. On our website, arnewsline.org, you will find a submission form for sending your most creative offering. Be sure you follow the traditional form to qualify. The first line is 5 syllables, the second line is 7 syllables, and the finishing third line has another 5 syllables. Be sure to match that format to qualify. Our team will pick from the best submissions that follow the 5-7-5-syllable rule and represent the love of amateur radio. Your prize? Bragging rights. And a featured spot for your haiku on the Amateur Radio Newsline's website. Meanwhile, visit our website at arnewsline.org to see this week's winning haiku. In amateur radio, there's code, as in Morse code, and then there's coding, the kind of coding some hams use in programming for their equipment. Jeremy Boot, G4NJH, tells us how the Radio Society of Great Britain has big plans for newcomers to coding.
Ham radio learning has been transformed by the BBC microbit and the Arduino, and hams attracted to the kind of coding involved are rapidly gaining enthusiasm. The Radio Society of Great Britain is preparing for National Coding Week, which takes place during the 3rd week of September, and is looking for volunteers who can develop activities to encourage newcomers to coding, newcomers of all ages to explore this new experience. The RSGB will be putting an extra emphasis on coding skills during the 3rd week of September, and hopes hams will offer some creative approaches for amateurs of all ages. If you have an idea, please contact John Hislop, G70HO, of the Exam and Syllabus Review Group. You can find his email in the text version of this week's Newsline script. This is Jeremy Boot, G4NJH.
In Australia, hams who belong to one radio group know that a lot has happened in the last 100 years, and they're celebrating all those years. For good reason. John Williams, VK4JJW, tells us what it's all about.
Congratulations to the Ballarat Amateur Radio Group, VK3BML, which is marking its 100th anniversary with a month-long on-air event. It was big news in June of 1923 when the Ballarat Star newspaper announced the formation of a ham radio group and informed readers of its first general meeting on the 23rd of June. At the time, the organisation was identified as the Ballarat Amateur Radio Club. Under the leadership of Ben Daniel, VK3NRD, the members themselves are not certain how the original ham groups may have changed, especially with the slight difference in its name, and they continue to research their history. Meanwhile, members are celebrating their centenary. There's no special event call sign, but hams around the world are being asked to listen for individual stations from Ballarat in the state of Victoria, Australia, and share in the special occasion. This is John Williams, VK4JJW.
In the world of DX, be listening for Dave, W9DR on the air as VP2V/W9DR from Anegada in the British Virgin Islands. IOTA number NA-023 from the 23rd to the 29th of June. He's using FT8, Q65, SSB, and CWN 6 meters only. QSL direct to his home call. Be listening for Ken, K4ZW, and Bob, W9XY, operating with the call sign ET3AA, the Ethiopian Amateur Radio Society's club station, at the Addis Ababa University's Institute of Technology from June 19th to the 29th. They will be using CW, SSB, and FT8 on 6 meters and all HF bands except for 80 meters. See QRZ.com for QSL details. In the Amali Islands, IOTA number AS-023, Masa JF3ELH will be using the call sign JF3ELH/6 for CW and SSB, and will be using the call sign JF3ELH/P for FT8 operations. He will be operating on 80 to 6 meters QSL via home call. Looking for Yes, JA1QQU on the air as CH25JA1QQU from Guam, IOTA number OC-026 from the 29th of June until the 4th of July. See QRZ.com for more details. Fans of GPS global positioning satellite navigation might soon be feeling a little fickle about their allegiance to this system. There's a new option in town, or there will be soon enough. Grant Kemp, VK4BB, concludes this week's report with his story about the promises offered by a special kind of subatomic particle.
They're known as Mahurons, subatomic high-energy particles that always travel at the same speed. They can be found all over the Earth, and researchers at the University of Tokyo are studying these readily available Mahurons as a basis for wireless navigation that can also function indoors, underwater, and beneath the ground. Hiroyuki Tanaka calls it the Mahuron positioning system. Unlike GPS devices, which gather information from low Earth orbit satellites, Murometric positioning uses the reference point of muron detecting sensors. Researchers acknowledge that while this shows promise, accuracy needs to be further fine-tuned before the system can be deployed in devices such as smartphones. But it certainly means that navigation itself could travel in a whole new direction. I'm Graham Kemp, VK4BB.
Do you have a piece of amateur radio news that you think Newsline would be interested in? We're not talking about advertising your club's upcoming Hamfest or Field Day participation, but something that's out of the ordinary. And if so, send us a brief overview via the contact page at arnewsline.org. If it's newsworthy, we'd like to cover it. We'll get back to you for more details. With thanks to Amateur Radio Daily, AMSAT News Service, ARRL, Eric-USA, Associated Press, Ballarat Amateur Radio Group, Cal Poly Amateur Radio Club, CQ Magazine, David Behar, K7DB, DX-World.net, EHAM.net, 425DX News, iFixit website, IFL Science, QRZ.com, Radio Society of Great Britain, Radio World, ShortwaveRadio.d, Times of India, Venable LLC, Wireless Institute of Australia, and you, our listeners. That's all from the Amateur Radio Newsline. We remind our listeners that Amateur Radio Newsline is an all-volunteer, non-profit organization that incurs expenses for its continued operation. And if you wish to support us, please visit our website at airnewsline.org and know that we appreciate you all. We also remind our listeners that if you like our newscast, please leave us a 5-star rating wherever you subscribe to us. For now, with Karen Eve Murray, KD2GUT at the news desk in New York, and our news team worldwide, I'm Stephen Kinford, N8WB in Wadsworth, Ohio, saying 73. And as always, we thank you for listening. Amateur Radio Newsline is copyright 2023, all rights reserved.
This concludes our Monday evening transmission of Amateur Radio Newsline. Set to start in about 10 minutes.
good. Any other calls, please? This is W8 Victor Mike. Right, Tom W8 WLI wasn't here. Hey, Rich, KD8AGZ from W8 Victor Mike.
KD8AGZ, field day, huh? Oh, I guess I had something else on my mind, because I was totally looking at the field day. We just know the weekend with a lot of static and I couldn't get through. Anyway, KD8AJZ, back to next.
Should have been hundreds of thousands of stations on the air. You wouldn't believe it when you listen to the band activity. But you can listen with any HF receiver and not have to deal with transmitting. Okay, with Brandon, Mike KD8ARB on round 2 from W8 Victor Mike.
W8 Victor Mike, this is KD8ARB. Returning, and I appreciate the folks who were talking about the camper. And man, I'll tell you, getting mice in there is no fun. That's one of the things that I started to do while we were out there this time, is to kind of see if I could mouse-proof a little bit. And I found a couple ingress points that I'm going to seal up. Some of them I did seal up, and others I'm going to do after we put some electrical in there. But anyhow, we were talking about the bus, and I think, Glenn, you said you didn't see anything like that. It's actually a full-size van. People call it a van, but it's actually a bus. If you look at the sticker, it's a Chevy Express passenger, 12-passenger van, 1-ton vehicle. So it's not like a school bus, but it is a bus. for whatever that's worth. And I like to joke about it because I think it's funny. Anyhow, it makes me chuckle that we tow our camper with that. And it works real well. On Friday, my oldest son wanted to go to Flight Fest down in Malvern, Ohio. And we drove down there, and they have probably, 400 or 500 campers that stay there. Hundreds, if not thousands, of radio-controlled pilots that come down there. And we walked past somebody that was also towing with the Chevy Express bus. And I stopped and chatted with them for about an hour and made a new friend. And they said, man, nobody wants to tow with these things, but they work great for it. And I said, I agree, and I think it's rare to find somebody else who tows with them, which is why I introduced myself. So anyway, it was a lot of fun. And with that, I think I better hand things back to Matt. Before I do, field day. Yeah, you know what? I heard a lot of people asking for help and wanting to do stuff and wanting to do a lot of things on field day, and I didn't have any ambition this year. I got on the radio for a little while and I listened, and I couldn't hear anybody or anything. So I just kind of gave up after a while and said, the bands must not be too happy this year. So anyway, with that, back to net. With 8 Victor Mike, this is KD8ARB.
Okay, and from your description of your bus and my photographs I just went through, you must have showed up at POTA after I left. No problem. I think I remember there was another remark I wanted to make. If I don't write it down, I get in trouble. Kevin K8VUS from W8 Victor Mike.
Okay, W8 Victor Mike, this is K8VUS. And, okay, first thing on the RV bus. I know what he's talking about. I took a field geology course in Colorado many, many years ago, and there were a bunch of us, and that's exactly, I'm not sure what it was. It might have been a Ford. I'm not sure what it was. But it was one of those big 12, 13 passenger buses that we went. I mean, we went places that was terrifying, some of them, on the edges of cliffs and that. But I know exactly what kind of a machine it's at. And, of course, this was the one with the window. It literally was a bus because of the way it was set up with the seats and that. But it would be, I could see someone like Frank who would tear the whole thing apart and make it into an RV. So I can see that, the shell. Anyway. Okay, field day. just real quickly on that, I was kind of worried. I did a lot of work getting this antenna up. It's a 119-foot fed antenna, and I got it way up in the top of the trees this time. So most of it, got it pretty vertical. And I was thinking, well, maybe it's because it is kind of basically a vertical antenna, that it was picking up too much noise and hash, and so we had a hard time. With that beginning, and then later that night, I did the evening. Glenn went home to grab some sleep and visit with his wife and have dinner or something, and then he came back early in the morning, and so I was going along. We had switched to 40 meters right after Ken left, and about 10 to 11 o'clock, wow, everything opened up. Everything was quiet as a mouse, and it's like, wow, maybe this would be great. And so all through the night, that's kind of where it was. I worked up, I think I got over 30 contacts just from 10 to 11, which is pretty good. That's like one every 2 minutes. On CW, and we do search and bounce. Hang on a minute. Anyway, then things kind of slowed down after that, and then Glenn came in, and we talked for a while, and then I went in and got 4 hours sleep, and he had gotten about 4 hours sleep when he had gone home. And I don't know about Glenn, but the only downside of this whole thing is I'm still starting to recover. I'm too old for this. I don't know if Glenn took as long as I am just to get back into shape. I don't know about next year. We'll have to give this a good thought because I'm really tired. And there's some mistakes I made this year that I have to remember not to make them again next year. Number one, start a lot earlier, getting stuff together and checking out all the equipment, making sure it works. It works the way it's supposed to. So that was a big problem there for me. Let's see. Oh, I had one other question when Glenn's around. Frank did show up at when we were done, when we had finished Frank Roman, and that's a question to you, Glenn. Did he say his new radio was a TS990S? You know, Kenwood. I'm not sure if that's the radio he said he had. Anyway, you can straighten me out on that. Back to
calling all amateur radio operators. Welcome to the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Special Post-Field Day, VHF UHF net. My name is Frank. My call is W8EZT, but for the purposes of this net, I'll be using the club call Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. This is an open, directed net. All amateur radio operators are invited and encouraged to check in. You do not have to be a club member. All traffic will go through net control, and since emergency traffic may break in at any time, please leave a brief pause between transmissions. The purpose of this net is to bring together all amateur radio operators for the exchanging of amateur-related ideas and information, to enhance net operating practices, and to keep members up to date about current club happenings. This net meets here every Monday evening at 8:30 p.m. Local time, preceded by Amateur Radio Newsline at 8:01. We'll start with some announcements, then ask for check-ins for any officer or member who has an announcement of general interest for the club. Once that is complete, we'll go ahead and take check-ins 5 at a time, call sign only. We'll identify that we got you and then come back and work you 1 in a row. When we're done with those 5, we'll get the next 5 and try to work through the net fairly quick like that. If you're a radio participant, I'll probably recognize you by your call sign. If not, please give your call, repeat it phonetically, followed by your name and location. When all check-ins have been worked, I'll close the net again after repeating the announcements. We also operate an HF plus 6 band exploration net starting at 9:30 p.m. Tonight we'll be on 80 meters at approximately 3.827 megahertz. So we got to go look around for other signals in there and find an open spot. I will announce the exact frequency on this repeater about a minute or two before the net, but somewhere around 3.827. If you have the privileges and the equipment, you're invited to check in. So announcements coming up this Wednesday. We have a club meeting. This will be the last meeting in the 2022-2023 year. It'll be Wednesday. It'll be both a Zoom meeting and an in-person meeting at 7:30 p.m. at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ at 2nd Street and Broad Boulevard. The speaker will be via Zoom Maria Kostic, YU3AWA of Serbia, and she'll be discussing her POTA park activations and her Vatican City operation that she did. Vatican City, of course, being a separate country, and she'll be talking about more. So it'll be an interesting presentation. It is 1 o'clock where she is, so she's graciously agreed to do this late at night. So you'll want to attend that meeting in person or through Zoom. Monday, July 3rd will be, let me get this in the light here. Monday, July 3rd, we have an opening for net control. If anybody would like to become, I should say become a net controller, do exactly what I'm doing right now, only probably better, by all means let one of the officers know. This would, we'd ask you to run the both VHF and if you have the equipment, HF net Monday at 8:30 as we're doing right now. All right, some other things coming up. Saturday, July 8th is the Mansfield Ham Fest. Wednesday, July 12th will be the business meeting. This will be the first meeting of the 23-24 year. We'll have the new officers on board, and of course, we'll be talking about Field Day and all of those things. Saturday, July 15th is the Norris Ham Fest. Saturday, July 22nd is the Ashtabula County Ham Fest. And that's about it. Let me pause for a nickel here. Of course, last weekend was Field Day, and at the risk of repeating myself too often, I will say once more, thanks to all of the volunteers who in any way participated and made this Field Day a success, and don't let anybody tell you different, it was a tremendous success. I met a lot of new hams or newer participants in Field Day out there this year, and I sure hope you come back and join us next year now that you've seen what's going on. We had several returning hams that were out there for the first time last year, and this year they really jumped in and did a fantastic job. We had some long-term hams whose experience in setting things up like this made it very easy. Somebody ran off with a layout rope and laid out all the anchor points for the stakes, set out the safety flags without any real guidance from me. So that's looking good. And unfortunately, for several reasons, there were some long-term participants who were not in attendance this year, and we missed them. All right, one more pause. Field Day pins. There was a sign-up list out there for volunteers. I have about 25 or 26 people on there right now. Hopefully you check the column if you wanted a Field Day pin as a way of the club saying thank you for you. We will get you a Field Day pin, but we need to know that you want it. They are a limited resource. So if you want a Field Day pin and you did not sign up and indicate you wanted one on the sign-in sheet, please let me know during the net. Okay, I've gone through all of the announcements. Do we have any officers or members with announcements of general interest? Go ahead now.
This is WO3X.
Go ahead, John.
Yeah, regarding the need for net control operator, the first two Mondays, the way that they were working was on the first Monday, I did the band exploration net, and that was on 6 meters on the first Monday. And then the second Monday, I did the VHF UHF net, and the other operator did the band exploration net, which was on 10 meters. But I can do the both of the band exploration nets on the first and second Mondays, so that the new net control operator would only have to do the VHF UHF net on the first 2 Mondays. Over.
Well, very good, John. I appreciate that. We would like to give this experience to other people, but certainly if you are willing to do that, that's appreciated. That means basically a technician can do the first night's net, first Monday of the month, just a technician license. Wouldn't need anything else, so I guess it wouldn't need it anyway. But thank you, John. Appreciate that. If anybody else out there would like to become a net control, it's a great way to learn call signs and names very quickly. It doesn't take a lot to it. You've heard me do it before, and you'll hear it tonight. Please reach out to, again, one of the officers or trustees and let us know you're interested. We'd love to get you on board, and it's a great way to overcome that mic fright, too. All right, thanks, John. I got you checked in. Anything else of general interest? Or for the net itself?
operating and setup and tear down for the W8VPV field day operation. And I also did pretty good on my home here on my batteries, 1 Echo Ohio. So both, let's see, I operated Saturday from 2 p.m. till about 9:30, took a nap, went out to Groundhog Hill, operated until about 5:30, and then I came home, took another nap, and then operated from about 11 until 2 p.m. Here, 1 Echo, Ohio, and then back out to Groundhog Hill for the teardown. So it all worked out really nice, and the weather cooperated. So with that, back to the net. This is WO3X.
All right, thanks, John. Nobody can say you weren't involved in field day. I appreciate everything you did for the club, and yes, without a doubt, the weather was very scary, and I was a little spooked Sunday as we saw the rain shaft and those dark clouds, but I saw a radar map, and it looked like it was a passing event, and it was, so I started to mellow out again. Thanks, John. Appreciate it. What days this week are you available or not available to do a field day wrap-up meeting?
I'm thinking, I guess I'm available all the other days. Last week, it was Wednesday. I had that other prior engagement. Let's see. Well, Tuesday I have a lot of nets. So the other days I'm readily available.
Okay, now that I looked at my calendar, this weekend is 4th of July, at least celebrated of it, so that may be a little tough to do for some people. In general, are your Thursday evenings open as long as it's not the first or the last?
It's just the fourth Thursday that I'm at the Aries meeting, so the other Thursdays I'm available.
Okay, we may push it off, just looking at other things. Second Thursday of February. I've lost my brain, of July. But thanks, John. I'll get a formal notice out and make sure that most people can attend. All right, this is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club. Now looking for anybody else with special announcements, general announcements to the club. Otherwise, we'll take it over to individual check-ins. Anybody else?
WA3JAT.
Hey, Jim. Right, he may have had a battery die or something. We'll be listening for him. Anybody else?
WA3JAT.
Go ahead, Jim.
Hey, Frank, good evening. Yeah, the repeater was cutting out. I'm not sure. I couldn't hear your replies. At any rate, I just want to reiterate what you said, thanking everybody who helped with field day this year. I think we did a great job. Good score. I think everybody there had fun, and that's what it's all about. It's a good time, and had a great time being the band captain for 40 meters, break for time. Worked on 40 meters, did a great job, and I think we turned in a pretty good score, and very pleased with all that. And some people were running stations, I think, for the first time, and they did a great job. I guess they found out it's not as hard as you think. At any rate, also looking forward to this Wednesday with Maria Kostick speaking, and hope any of you can make it. If you can't make it in person, please make it on Zoom. Back to you, Frank, W8VPV, WA3JAT.
All right, very good, Jim. Thanks very much. Appreciate the check-in. Anybody else with general announcements, or we'll go to individual check-ins? All right, looking for 5 check-ins. Go ahead, call sign only.
Katie 8VYT.
Got you, Russ, next.
KA8BSA.
Got you, BSA. Got you, Keith. Next.
N8NH, Mark and Akron, in and out.
All right, thanks very much, Mark, in and out. Next.
AB8OU.
We got a double there. I got AB8OU. That was Zeke. And who is the other station, please?
Alpha Charlie 8, X-Ray Oscar.
All right, got you, Vince. Next. Yeah, one more.
YTY.
I think I heard KD8. Was it YDY? I can't hear the other station in there, so let me go with these and then we'll try to catch up here. All right, up to the top, Russ, KD8 VYT, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I know you guys had a good field day out at Groundhog Hill. However, I was at the American Legion post in Rittman with the Sarah Club, and I provided the food and had a ton left. I always make too much food because not as many people show up as you expect. I don't know our score. I don't think we have as many as the Sea Fart Club, but a good time was had by all, and that's about all I gotta say. KD8VYT 73, back to you, Frank.
Very good, Russ. Well, I'm glad they worked out well, and geez, oh man, like I say, with all that leftover food, I'm tempted to pay a visit. Sounds good. All right, thanks, appreciate it. All right, KA8BSA, Keith, go ahead.
Hey, good evening, everyone. This is Keith, KA8BSA. Field day was far better than last year as far as the go-to station goes. Made some definite improvements. Planning for more improvements for next year, antenna-wise. The position that we were physically in with the station, I think, worked great. Thank you for that. And back to you, Frank, KA8BSA.
Very good. Field day is about improvising, and somewhere in the process, the communication broke down, and Keith was relying on me to bring an antenna out, which I have, but I apparently forgot about it or didn't write it down, and I didn't bring it out there. So Keith had an automatic antenna tuner with him, and found some of that yellow wire I've got, and he and some other hams stretched out a long wire horizontal, which was, I think, a very good solution to that. It helped little when we grounded, put out a counterpoise and grounded into the truck bed. But very good. Appreciate it, Keith. I'm glad you had a good go-to weekend. I would like to get together with you sometime when we do our wrap-up meeting and analyze that. We did have a backup radio, and we ended up using it for the CW station. We can always make, if we had a radio issue there, if you think that's what it was, we can also get another backup radio next year. So we will adapt and improvise and overcome and solve these problems. But thanks for all of your effort and helping get the word out to hams about what what ham radio is all about. All right, thanks, Keith. Mark is in and out. Zeke, AB8OU. How are you doing this evening?
Good evening, Frank and everyone. Well, I missed another field day. I'd wanted to come, but as I got closer, reality set in. But I did operate as a 1D from home. Of course, I had a power failure while I was trying to set up the logger for field day, and it finally cleared. Of course, the computer was reluctant to come back online. Let's see what else. Oh, I had a vacuum cleaner crisis and a cable TV crisis, no QVC. But other than that, I had fun with what operating I did from home. Back to you, Frank, AB8OU.
I understand totally. And was the power failure due to lightning or storms or something else?
I have no idea what the cause of the power failure was. From the outage map, they said it was around 1,500 people was what the pre-programmed response in the computer was to where the outages were. Then Spectrum Cable, they said they had a service outage later in the afternoon, which probably was the cause of my problem. But it did occupy some time. Back to you, Frank, AB8OU.
All right, very good to see that you had a chance to participate in Field Day. It was a scramble this year with a short planning cycle, but I think next year we're going to do a lot better. We had a lot of new people, and I hear a lot of interest in it. All right, AC8XO, go ahead, Vince.
Good evening, Frank, and everyone on the net. It is getting close to the end of the month, so I'll be preparing the newsletter here in a little bit. So if anybody has anything to scribble or any pictures to send or whatever, now would be the time to think about it. Other than that, don't have a whole heck of a lot, just dealing with stuff here. AC8XO, back to net.
Very good, Vince. Appreciate the check-in, and yes, I will have a Field Day article and pictures, and anybody else who took pictures out at Field Day, thanks for the reminder, Vince. Anybody out there who took pictures at Field Day, please send them to me. My call, W8EZT@cfarc.org. We'd like to put them up on our webpage. We'd like to put them in our archives, and probably a couple will head off to the newsletter also. So if you took pictures out there, what we were doing, by all means, send them to me. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list. Let's get 5 more check-ins. Go ahead, please. Call sign only.
Kilo 8, Zulu Tango.
Yankee Papa Yankee.
I got KVCT, and who is the Yankee Papa Yankee station again?
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee Papa Yankee.
Alrighty, I got KE8YPY next.
DIS.
Okay, I think that was Bill. DIS. And there was somebody else in there, somebody underneath Bill. Go ahead, the other station. VPP looking for check-ins, another station. 8 KVI. Got you, Ron. Next, another check-in.
WA8 WFX.
All right, got you, Floyd. It looks like I got 5 here. Back to the top. Anthony, KZT, go ahead.
Good evening, everyone. I literally just pulled into the driveway less than 5 minutes ago, getting back from West Virginia today, and had a good time at Field Day. There were a lot more deer, skunks, owls, and other wildlife at my Field Day site than I'm used to. But had a good time, and we'll have to compare notes in the future here. This is K8CT. Oh, by the way, I did work W8VP very early on FT8. I did hear Jim on 40, but I wasn't able to get through on 40 phone, and I didn't get a chance to work them, but I did work a number of Ohio stations. This is K8CT.
Very good, Anthony. Yeah, we, I believe, worked well over 1,000 contacts on 40 meters, so we'll look forward to that. Thanks, Anthony. Appreciate it. Jim, again, was a QSO engine this year, just spitting them out. All right, let's see here. There is somebody new that I don't recognize the call on. KE8YPY, please give me your name and tell me how you're doing this evening.
This is KE8YPY. My name is Henry, and I just got my call sign, and you guys are actually the first net I've been able to get into. So, it's kind of cool. I listen to you guys all the time, and I have a QR net page. And today I really thought it was like thundering and rumbling. I thought it was going to rain hard, and it just kind of sprinkled. So, that's how it's been. And I passed my test on the 3rd. been trying to make contacts and getting into net since.
Well, congratulations and welcome to Ham Radio. This repeater is operated by the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, and we're always looking forward to new members. So we do a Zoom meeting and an in-person meeting, or I should say we do an in-person meeting and it's also a Zoom meeting. We meet on the second and fourth Wednesday of each month. If you can make it, we're located in downtown Cuyahoga Falls is where we meet. If you can make it, we'd love to see you in person. If not, we have a link on our calendar to a Zoom webpage, and you can jump in there and attend the meeting electronically. But again, congratulations on your license. Thanks very much. Glad we were able to be your first contact. We are W8VPV, and well, don't be a stranger. There's somebody here every Monday, and we'd love to hear you checking in the future. Congratulations, good luck, and look forward to hearing you some more. All right, next up is Bill, ADIS. Go ahead, Bill.
Hello, everybody. Not really much traffic. Just wanted to say hey, and I've been a little lax on making both meetings and nets here lately, but just hope everybody's doing well. And did want to add congratulations to Henry, and welcome to the world of ham radio. We're happy to be your first net, and hope you have a lot of fun in the future in this hobby and learn a lot of things, as we all have. So other than that, I'll send it back to you, Frank, W8DIS, back to net.
All right, thanks, Bill. And, whenever you can make it, of course, good luck seeing you. Look forward to seeing you. All right, next up, Ron, KE8KVI, who's been hanging around HamFest but really dove in this year. Go ahead, Ron.
Well, I kind of dove in last year too, Frank, but, you're old, so I don't expect your memory to be all that good. I was just sitting here finishing up some stuff that kind of got left to do over the weekend because I really wasn't here, and I've got a beagle staring at the radio because he recognizes your voice.
And I don't have any food to give him.
And that's probably why he's staring at it and whining and just waiting for that food to come his way.
I'll have to leave something there, and when he hears my voice, you can give him the food, and he'll be happy. Very good, Ron. Thanks for everything. Look forward to seeing you later on then, and again, appreciate all your help. Next up, Floyd, who's out there all hours of the night. WA8, WFX. Go ahead, Floyd.
W8VPV and everybody out there, good evening. Just glad to be here. Still going to probably get to bed a little bit early tonight to catch up on some sleep, but other than that, we're in pretty good shape. But just glad to hear everybody. Nice to see everybody out at the field day site, and I enjoyed it a lot. We'll possibly get to a meeting soon. Anyways, have a good evening. W8VPV, WA8, WFX.
Very good, Floyd. Good seeing you out there this weekend. All right, bottom of the list, looking for a couple more check-ins. Go ahead, call sign only, please.
HMS.
Got you, Steve. Next.
KE8ULA. Uniform India Bravo. KE8UIB.
I got a double there. I got KE8ULA. Was that you, Jim?
That's correct. Yes, KE8ULA.
Okay, and the other station then, go ahead.
Kilo Echo 8 Uniform India Bravo. KE8UIB. John.
Got you in there, John. Another check-in.
KE8YDT.
KE8YDT. Young Delta Tango. Who is the name, please?
Brian in Akron.
Very good, Brian. I tried to combine Brian and Akron. I was about to say Brian. Sorry. Very good, Brian. We'll get right back to you. Another check-in, please. Heard somebody in there, but they were down in the noise. Try it again, please. more check-ins? Otherwise, what work have we got here? Back to the list. ULA Jim, go ahead. I'm sorry, Steve. Top of the list, I marked the wrong spot. Stand by Jim. Steve, go ahead.
Yeah, okay, Frank. Just real quick, I'm on the 440 side. Coming in okay?
Loud and clear.
Okay. Well, good evening to everybody. Thanks for running the net, Frank. And yeah, it was a great field day. Could not believe how well everything came together with people there, and the weather was fantastic. And Frank, thanks for what all you do. Only problem Evan and I had, like every year, there were so many people wanting to get in there and run CW. We had to, you know, like put them in line to, you know, take their turn. But other than that, you know, other than that, it was great. Always liked field day, and I think we did real well. Everything was good. So that's about it. I don't know where the other net is. I just got in here, so if you want to tell me the 9:30. So back to you, Frank, KHMS.
All right, Steve, not a problem at all. The band exploration net is on 80 meters tonight, 3.827 or thereabouts. I'll have to, when I get done with this net, I'll start looking around for a clear frequency, and that starts at 9:30. So, all right, appreciate it again, Steve. Thanks for being out there. Okay, now Jim, KE8ULA, go ahead, please.
This is KE8ULA. Good evening, Frank, and everyone on the net. Yeah, it was a great field day. The weather was perfect for us. I really had a great time. I learned so much as a new amateur operator. I learned a ton. I love meeting all the new people. I didn't even realize how many people are in this club. Met a lot of nice people out there, and I love, you know, meeting people with a lot of experience or people at my level, you know, and just bouncing things off of them, sharing ideas and learning what they have, you know, learning from them. I just learned a ton, and I was glad to help out with that. Back to the net, KE8ULA.
Very good. I think you said it better than I've heard it in years. That's exactly what this hobby embodies. Learning and picking up new ideas, meeting. We have a spectrum of people from very old to very new hams, and I'm happy. That's exactly what I like to hear in this event. So thank you for all your help. Sure hope you'll be involved in the planning for next year. And, well, it's a lot of fun, and I've really enjoyed the part that I played in it. Thanks again. All right, next up, KE8UIB. John, go ahead. I can't read my handwriting. Go ahead, John.
W8BT from KE8UIB. Good evening, everybody out on the net. Just want to check in on this rainy Monday evening here in Maplin, and hope all is good up there. And we're sitting at about 0.4 inches of rain as it's coming down right now, and I hope everybody had a good field day. And I got to go out to a couple different clubs and a couple different events, so that was kind of nice. And again, just wanted to check in and stuff, kind of make this net a little bit more of a routine with some of the DMR nets I do on Mondays. So just again, want to check in and give you one for the numbers. With that, I'm going to go ahead and hand this back over to Net Control. This is KE8UIB 73, y'all.
All right, very good, John. Always appreciate having you in here, and well, we'll catch you down the page then. KE8YDT, Brian, go ahead.
Hi, good evening, Frank. Good evening, Nat. Just want to check in, one for the numbers. Congratulations, Henry. Welcome to the hobby. And with that, KE8YDT, back to Nat, 73.
All right, appreciate it, Brian. All right, I'm down at the bottom of my list, so we're looking for 5 more check-ins. If I know you, just give me your call sign. If I don't, give me your call sign and name, and we'll work you in that order. Go ahead, please.
KE8HKB.
Got you, David. Next.
KE8WC10.
Okay, there was a double. I recognized Bill, KA8WTK. And the other station, go ahead.
AKAX, Kilo 8 Bravo Kilo, Brian.
Okay, I heard Forrest in there. And the other station, go ahead.
K8BK, Brian.
All right, thank you, Brian. One more time.
AK8BK, Brian.
AK8BK, Brian. Did I get that right? My brain is starting to fade.
AK8BK, Brian. Alpha Kilo 8 Bravo Kilo.
All right, QSL, got you that time. And I had a K, was there a K8BK, or was I just getting part of it?
I think both. It's a little confusing. So Alpha Kilo 8 Bravo Kilo.
All right, I must have been just getting part of it. Sorry for the confusion there. All right, and one more then. There's a call I recognize. The8CXO Mike. All right, I'm at the bottom of the page. Let me get back to the top here and see who's in there. Head up off the top, David, KE8HJB. Good evening. How are you doing tonight?
KE8HJB here. Doing just fine, Frank. I'm really pretty much in and out. Don't have anything for the net. So, KE8HJB is clear.
Very good, and good clear signal into the repeater. You can hear you very well with that antenna coming out good. All right, KA8WTK, Bill, go ahead.
VPV, KA8WTK. Good evening, Frank, and the rest of the net. Spent the weekend, believe it or not, dusting. We had a contractor in all week, and we tore out some walls and a bathtub and a lot of things. I've never seen so much dust in my life. So it was a cleaning weekend. It was quite an experience. But we're getting everything back together, and it's starting to look livable. So that's about it from here. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Very good, Bill. Small world story. We had some new people out at the Field Day this year. Reverend Ron Black and his wife, Tara. And as we were talking, he says, my first experience seeing ham radio was a guy named Bill. His call is KA8WTK. This was back in the 80s, and apparently he used a phone patch to bring up a repeater and make a phone call, and that really stood out in his mind. He's an extra now. His wife's a general, and they were out at our field day for the first time this year, but he did remember you.
Yep, Ron was in band with my oldest son, David. So I think the last time I saw Ron, he was doing volunteer or auxiliary police, directing traffic. It's got to be probably 30 years ago. Anywho, back to you, Frank. W8VPV, KA8WTK.
Very good, Bill. Well, have a good one, and hope you catch it down the page then. Okay, Forrest, you're up. KE8YAX. KE8YAX. Forrest, are you still monitoring?
Keep the numbers up.
Thank you, Forrest. Appreciate that. I'm glad you're doing okay, and we'll see if we can't get you to another meeting then. Thanks so much. Appreciate the check-in. All right, next up, AK8BK. I got you this time, Brian. Go ahead.
Good after evening, Net. Thank you very much. It's been a while since I've checked into a net or even done any radio stuff in a while. So it was stopped out there to see you guys, and it was great to see everyone operating. Glad to hear you had some success on 40 meters. And I think the only other comment I really have is congratulations to Henry. Also, I hope you all have a great evening. AK8BK.
Very always enjoy you stopping out and everything. And if you feel like getting seriously back into the hobby, or not even, always love to see you showing up at a club meeting. So you have yourself a good evening then. And also, again, congratulations to Henry, who just got his license. And the FCC license management system was down for a while, so that's what slowed down a lot of the VE results in the last couple of weeks. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list, but I got Mike first, WB8CXO. Go ahead, Mike. All right, thanks, Mike. Mike's a long-term club member. Always good to hear him back in here. He and Floyd and some other people he used to run around together. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list again. Looking for any more check-ins. We'll take them one by one now. Looking for any more check-ins for the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club Monday Night Net.
Kilo Echo 8, Yankee Papa Yankee.
All right, that sounds like a recheck. Is that you, Henry?
Yep.
Go ahead.
YPY. I just want to say thanks and all the praise. Yeah, it was kind of close to get license. And then I figured out that their whole system was down. So I think that's why I took so long. Thanks. KE8YPY, after net control.
Very good, Henry. It's a lot of fun hobby, and I think as you check into other nets, you got us, so I'm sure you can get others. You'll have a lot of fun. One of the first things a lot of hams do is buy a better antenna. Nothing wrong with the antenna on the walkie-talkie, but you can get a much better one and put it up high on a wall and maybe connect some coax to it, and it really helps your signal. You were a little noisy, but we could still hear you in there. But thanks, Henry, and again, congratulations. All right, looking for more check-ins. Go ahead, please. All right, somebody's solid into the repeater, but there's absolutely no audio on there, like the microphone might have issues or something. Try it again.
Let's try it this way. WB8YYS, Greg in Kent. Hi, Frank.
There you go. You're working, Greg. Go ahead.
Hey, Frank, and everybody on the net there this evening. Thoroughly enjoyed field day. I don't know. Of course, my sleep patterns are totally messed up now, 6 weeks. Really good time. Have been better, and I understand yesterday when we were tearing down that they had tornado activity up in the northern part of the state, so we kind of dodged a bullet there a little bit. But nevertheless, I'll have all the paperwork that I've got, Frank, and I'll bring that to the club meeting Wednesday. And I've got, I didn't have time to respond to your email because I had to duck out and do the Ohio DMR net, but if I can, I'll call you after the net and fill you in on the blank spots. And that's about all I've got. Everybody have a really good week. Look forward to seeing all of you here on Wednesday night. So, Frank, turn it back to you, WB8YYS. We'll see you later.
All right, very good, Greg. Thanks for all the work you did on the bonus points be curious to see how he did on that, but thanks for all your efforts. Just so you know, you are a little bit noisy into the repeater. You were in and out for a little bit there. I don't know if you're on just an HT or not, but if you can get a better antenna up or maybe a little bit more power next time, it might help. But thanks for the check-in. Appreciate it. All right, any more check-ins? This is W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday night, VHF, UHF net.
KE8YIR, Mark, in and out.
All right, Mark, appreciate that, and thanks for the use of the truck. That was a very valuable shelter. Next check-in, please.
Number 8, Alpha Charlie Papa, N8 ACP, Chris in Akron.
All right, N8 ACP, Chris, go ahead, and good to see you out there, and I'm glad you had a good, I'm sure you had a good time, but good to see you.
Frank, oh yeah, we sure did have a good time at Field Day. I want to thank you personally, Frank, for organizing that. I think you were the lead, and of course everybody else that helped, especially the folks that did the food. We were not short on hydration or sustenance for sure. A very good time, I'm sure, was had by all. Yeah, we had, I think there was over 1,200 contacts. And I do apologize for having to split early to take my girl to work, but anyways, I think when I left there was like something like 1,200 QSOs on 40 meters, and we did quite a bit of work on 20. The bands were in great shape overnight. Managed to work Saipan in the northern Mariana Islands, so that was pretty neat. We were getting some good DX. Floyd worked a couple of stations too there from Czech Republic and the Slovak Republic, and one of those was actually doing Field Day as a contest, so that was pretty neat. And the N1MM logging software worked great, and yeah, it was just a really good time. So thank you for having me, and like I said before, I guess I owe you both set up and tear down next year. So thanks for all your hard work on that, Frank, and it was great to see everyone out there. 7-3 all from November 8, Alpha Charlie Papa, back to that.
Very good, Chris. Great seeing you out there along with everybody else. It just came together so well, and the people here just worked so well as a team. I can't say thank you enough. Yeah, we had more than enough food, more than enough hydration. We covered almost all the stations, almost all the night. We could have used some more CW operators, but they're hard to find. I'm going to try, maybe we should try a CW class for people who really want to learn it. But yeah, we had, I think, collectively the club did a fantastic job this year, and I want to thank everybody again. And we can do it again next year, but I will not be the chair. We need a couple of co-chairs, and I will coach and help people along, but it just took everything out of me this year. Normally we have co-chairs, and I didn't have one this year. But again, thanks to everybody out there. All right, I'm at the bottom of my list. Well, I'm working on one at a time now, so any more check-ins for W8VPV, the Cuyahoga Falls Amateur Radio Club, Monday Night Net. Got the very back end of somebody's call or something. Go ahead and try it again.
Recheck, Frank.
Yeah, go ahead and recheck.
WA8WFX. Yeah, I was listening to him note about the DX we worked. We also worked France early on. It was quite interesting to work those DX stations out at Field Day there. We had a good time. WA8WFX.
That's right. That was the F4 station I was trying to recognize. I don't know my country prefixes that well. I got to get a table and tape it up to the wall and start memorizing them. Pretty good, Floyd. Thanks. Appreciate it. Any more check-ins for W8VPV? Real quick, wrap this thing up and go look for an open spot on 80 meters. Again, this Wednesday, 7:30, we'll have an in-person meeting that will also be Zoomed. An in-person meeting is at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in downtown Cuyahoga Falls. The meeting will be a presentation over Zoom by Maria Kostic, YU3AWA of Serbia, and she'll be discussing some of her amateur radio operations, including her POTA activations and her activation of Vatican City, which is actually a country, and more. So you'll definitely want to check into that. That's this Wednesday. July 3rd will be our first first net in July. We need a new net control. So if one of you out there would like to become net control, it takes a little bit of time on a Monday night to run the net. You'll memorize a lot of calls very quickly. We could use net control on another net control operator, so please notify any of the trustees or officials, I can't get it right, officers, and we'd be glad to set you up. We've got a script, and there'll be somebody there the first couple of nets to step in if you fumble the mic or something like that, or your rig fails or whatever. Some other announcements. Let me pause for time. Saturday, July 8th is the Mansfield Ham Fest. Wednesday, July 12th is our first business meeting in the new 2023-24 business year. I think we'll have a great time, so hope to see you out there. Of course, we'll be wrapping up Field Day there, if not sooner. July 15th is the Norse Fest. That's a Saturday. July 22nd is the Ashtabula County Ham Fest, which is a new one. I haven't been there. I'll have to check that out. And, of course, coming up tonight at 9:30 on 80 meters will be our band exploration net. It'll be somewhere around 3.827 megahertz. I'll have to sniff around and find an open spot in the band, and I'll announce it on this repeater just before we start the net, right around 8:28 or so. So again, thanks to all of those volunteers that helped make Field Day a success, and from all the, I know I would call it a success even if we didn't score a point, because I had such a great time and met so many new and even some of the older hams again. So thank you there. We'll try one for any more last check-ins and then shut this net down. Do we have any more check-ins for W8VPV? Right, nothing heard. We'll bring this to a close then. At this time, I will close this net, and let's see here. Wrong line. In preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of those who took the time to join us and check in tonight. Without your participation, there would be no net. This has been Frank, W8EZT, and it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, which is 9:20 p.m., we'll close this net with 25 check-ins, 26 myself included, and return this repeater to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, closing the net. 73, everybody, and be there for 9:30 net, somewhere around 3.827. W8 VPV, clear.
Hey, quit talking about those older hams.
I resemble that remark. An old ham, aged ham?
Yeah, I resemble it more, Frank. KHMS.
All right, Mr. CW, I hope to catch you on the 80-meter band. W8EZT, I'll be QSY.
QRZ, this is Whiskey Alpha 3, Juliet Alpha Tango. Was there somebody else there? Okay, is this the KE8YPY station?
I think I hear somebody on the repeater in the background, but I'm sorry I cannot make out the call sign. For those of you interested in doing our band exploration night, looks like 3.827 is pretty clear, so we'll be right on the frequency tonight, 3.827. I do have a high noise level in my area, so this may be tough to do, but we'll do what we can. W8EZT.
This is KE8YPY, listening.
The station calling, I was on the other radio. Who is that, please?
This is Henry, KE8YPY.
Oh, okay, Henry. I'm going to have to move off the repeater here, and I'm running another frequency or another net on 80 meters, so I'm going to have to move off here. But again, congratulations. Glad you got in there. And if you get online and search for repeaters in Northeast Ohio, you'll find several more that hopefully you'll be able to hit.
Yeah, I heard you're moving to a different frequency. And just today, I hit the W8WKY repeater. That one's pretty far from here, though. I'm surprised I made it to just HT. But you go have fun on, I think, 80 meters. KE8YPY. Over.
Alrighty, very good, Henry. I'm going to have to switch frequencies, but good talking to you. W8EZT, I'll be QSY.
So Echo 8 Yankee, Papa Yankee, this is November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. Henry, congratulations on getting your license, and I wondered, what is your QTH, what is your location where you're transmitting from? Over.
This is KE8YPY. I am in Broomfield, which is near Kent.
I think I heard Richfield. Is Richfield? Is that correct?
Broomfield or Kent?
Roger. Got it. Brimfield. Gotcha. So yeah, you're right now. You have a pretty good signal into the machine. There's some background noise on your signal, some hash, I guess, static. But you're up above it, and the audio is good. You can increase your gain a little bit, the old-fashioned way, and hold the HT. I think that's what you're using. Closer to the proverbial pie hole. But anyways, yeah, I would second the other gentleman's recommendation. Maybe take a look at getting even like a mag mount antenna and sticking it on a pie plate, putting it in a window and connecting it using an adapter or whatever to the HT instead of the conventional rubber duck antenna. That's what I did when I first got started. And it does help you get out better. But if you're getting into W8WKY, that's a pretty good stretch for you. And if you're getting into this machine, and you are, that's not bad. So, elevation, should remember two things. Elevation is your friend. And if you can connect that HT to an external antenna that's not part of the rubber duck assembly, then that will definitely improve your signal. But wherever you're transmitting from now, as compared to during the net, you sound better now. Over.
Transmitting on the net, I was transmitting sitting at my bench. Now I'm on so I might be able to get farther with that. And I'm waiting on a cable for a Yankee antenna that I'm building for 70 centimeters. So on the 70 centimeter version of the computer, I will probably be able to hit it a bit better. This is K8YPY.
Roger that, Henry. For anybody listening, by the way, Frank came in a little bit ago and said 3827 is clear, so I'm assuming that's where they're at. And that's where I'm going to go in a little bit here, Henry. But yeah, well, it sounds like you're on the right path. My brother's got one of those Nagoya 77s and works real good. And yeah, the J-pole is a great antenna. So, well, again, congratulations. Welcome to the hobby. There's no shortage of things to get into here. So. We'll say 7-3 for now. Nice, again, congratulations on getting your ticket, and we'll talk further on down the line. Kilo Echo 8, Yankee Papa Yankee. Good to hear you in 7-3 from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. Name is Chris, by the way, over.
November 8 Papa Charlie. This is K8YP1. Yeah, thanks. Yeah, I will probably be heading off the radio for a little bit to break down some repeaters on my computer. So I'll be back on another net, and I'll log you on QRZ. Talk to you later. 73.
Roger, Henry. Correction on the call sign. It's November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. November 8 Automatic Colt Pistol. November 8 America Charlie Papa. So yeah, very good. Sounded good at the end there. Real clear at the end of that transmission. Very, very nice signal. So again, congrats. And I'm on a QSY to 3827, 80 meters. 7-3 Kilo Echo 8 Yankee Papa Yankee from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa. I'll be clear.
WO3X, Whiskey Oscar 3 X-ray. Yeah, okay, yeah. I have you, I have Forrest, I have Anthony, and I have Jim checked in. Yeah, I'll take it over. KD8YAX, this is Whiskey Oscar 3 X-ray, doing the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor net. I have a copy on you, and I have you on the list. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor calling for check-in for the band expiration net.
Able 8 Whiskey Box X-ray.
Okay, that sounded like Floyd, WAWFX. We'll just go one at a time here. Go ahead, Floyd, with your comments.
Okay, thank you. I could barely hear Frank down in the mud, not even enough to really tell what he's saying all the time. But you're very loud and clear in here. Just wanted to check in and say hi, and we'll let it go for there. WA8WFX.
Okay, Floyd, we hear you there. Thanks for checking in, 73, and have a good evening. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Yeah, KDAYAX. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. We have you, Forrest. We have you. So have a good evening, 73. Okay, are there any other check-ins for the Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor band exploration net? Was that KDA RKT? Okay, I got Kilo Charlie 8, and then what was after that? I think I heard something Tango. Okay, so I got KC8 Romeo, and then what were the last two? Okay, KC8 RKT. Okay, I have you. Go ahead with your comments. We'll just go one at a time here on this net. Picking you up okay. I just didn't hear you real good. You had a strong enough signal here. So 73, thanks for checking in and have a good evening. Okay, another check-in please. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor. KD8YAX, thanks for checking in. Okay, Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor asking for check-in. Okay, let's see. Here are the announcements. This Wednesday, June 28th at 7:30 p.m. is our activity meeting, and we will have a presentation by a person who has activated Vatican City, which is a country on its own in the amateur radio field. And so she will be presenting that on Zoom, and we will be watching it both on Zoom and in person at the Pilgrim United Church of Christ in Cuyahoga Falls, which is on the corner of 2nd Street and Broad Boulevard. You get into the parking lot by going south on 2nd Street from Broad Boulevard. Let's see, and Frank had mentioned some Hamfest. I know for sure that the Mansfield Trunk Fest is on July 8th, and it's free admission. Let's see what else we have here. That's all that I can come up with at this time with the announcements. With that, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-in. N8ACP, I hear you, Chris. You have any comments?
No, I think that covers it all.
The squirrels or something must have messed with his coax because his SWR was jumping all over the place. It was good for one transmission, for part of a transmission, and then the SWR would jump way up, and he was getting an SWR alarm and all that, and cut back on the power. So he asked me if I could take over.
Okay, Roger. Hopefully he gets that nailed down. Like he needs another thing to do, right? Hey, good to see you out of field day, John. That was a lot of fun. And, yeah, we I think we anybody got the that presentation going down, but the other one worked really good. When you got off of 80, I started calling CQ there on that station, and got some pretty good little runs going before it died out with a bunch of runs. So yeah, that was good. Had a lot of fun. W8BCB from November 8 Alpha Charlie Papa.
Okay, Chris. Yeah, very good. It was good to see all the, both of those stations active. So that was a big help. When I came out there, and then you and Floyd went to the 40-meter one and kept that going. So that got us a lot of points there. So thanks for all that, all the contacts you made there. So let's see. And I heard Frank in here for a moment. Let me switch to the other antenna for Frank. W8EZT. Go ahead, Frank. Okay, well, if anybody wants to get some details and the Zoom link for our activity meeting this Wednesday, go to www.cfarc.org, and on the right side into the calendar, and the Zoom link will be on there for June 28th. Okay, this is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor, last call for check-in. Okay, in preparing to close this net, I would like to thank all of you who took the time to join us and check in tonight. As mentioned earlier, this band exploration net meets every Monday at 9:30 p.m. Next week, the frequency will be 50.270 megahertz upper sideband. That's again, that's 50 on a 6-meter band. It's going to be upper sideband, 50.270 megahertz. Please feel free to check in regularly, even if only for a moment. All comments are welcomed and valuable to us. This has been John, and my call is W03X, and it was also Frank, W8EZT, who started this net this evening. And it's been my pleasure to host this evening's net. At this time, I will close the net and return the frequency to normal and customary amateur radio use. This is Whiskey 8 Victor Papa Victor closing the net at 9:48 p.m. local time with 8 check-ins, counting myself. 7-3.
W8WKY.
Kilo Echo 5, Mike Delta Foxtrot.
W8VPV. Repeater, PL110.9.
Kilo Echo 5, Mike Delta Foxtrot. Sorry. I apologize, sir. I'm testing out a new HT and had the volume turned down, still learning the options. This is Kilo Echo 5, Mike Delta Foxtrot. I didn't catch your call sign. That's clear, sir. Name is Ron, Romeo Oscar, November. I'm currently in Talmadge. Just trying a new port on my HT. I appreciate you getting back to me. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. We can head to bed. Thank you for coming back to me, sir. This is Kilo Echo 5, Mike Delta Foxtrot.
EPV. Repeater.
Yes, sir. I've hit some of the areas on 440. I just had this still set up from field day yesterday. It's pretty impressive. I was working on a
new power distribution for my trailer, and seeing with different radios how much current it draws. Farmer got a 55 amp in the trailer and a 30 amp hour portable battery. Yeah, just figuring at getting the right fuses, make sure I've got the right size fuse in the spots. Those are I'm running on about 5 watts. The FT5D, just located off Northeast Avenue in Talmadge. I just switched over to reverse while you were transmitting, and you were staticky but still copyable. Whatever you're using seems to be working okay. That's clear.
W8VPV. Repeater.
CQ, this is KE8ARC. How are you? I haven't been out here in a while, so I've been sick, so I thought I'd get on tonight and just see who's out there.
that's awesome. I'm just going to see if I can give you a second to switch radios. But, yeah, we're sitting over here. We're going to be, like I said, I'm going to get a shower and get ready for bed here in a couple minutes. And then Lucy packed up a little bit more stuff in the apartment today. And then when I was done with work, I ran to Planet Fitness and church for a little bit, and then came back here and spent a little time with her, and then going to be heading to bed. So it was an all right day. Work was okay, but the best part of the day is after work, as far as I'm concerned. So very good. All right, good to hear it. And we'll see what we can make. I like that there's 3 opportunities. That makes it easy on us.
All right, hold on a second. I don't think I need 50 watts to get into this repeater. I accidentally keyed up my clear node. I was on the 440 side. Fortunately, that's all it was, but, well, if you haven't picked up the wrong microphone and started talking, I promise you, sometime during your ham career you will. So, kind of curious, what did you play in band? That's cool. Yeah, it's kind of hard to find anybody who likes and appreciates the music that I play. I don't think too many people do. But if yeah, I figured I'd invite you and Betty and of course Lucy. I understand it is kind of a drive, so yeah, probably I don't know, probably Chardon or Mentor would be about the same distance for you, be my guess, at least time-wise.
Yeah, I'd say so. They're pretty close. My boss, when I was working up there, he actually lived in Chardon, and so he'd go from Mentor to Chardon, and it was funny. He would joke about what was he saying about? I think I might have told you the story about how he was telling his wife was saying, "Hey, Chardon's Chardon's a very rural area," and he was like, "No, it's not. There's like suburbs and all this other stuff." And then he realized, yeah, no, we're pretty much in the country. The day that he saw a cow got loose and walked down their roads. that was a funny story he came in and told us one day. But I played violin, and my mom started me when I was 4 and a half, and I think more often than not I was doing lessons. I took lessons at a place called the Community Music School out in Oberlin, and did that for a long time. Took a break somewhere between 4 and a half and high school, and then I stopped about halfway through because school got to be, I was spending too much time on that. I spent a lot more time on school. But my biggest problem was I never really advanced because I didn't practice enough. So my biggest takeaway was from that whole experience was if you want to actually get good at a thing, you got to practice it, and that's what I'm trying to tell myself right now when I'm practicing Morse code. Trying to be more consistent with it. So, but it was fun. I'm glad that I did it, and there was I think the highlights were some of those concerts that we did. Like the John Williams concert, and we did one when I was younger, Pirates of the Caribbean. That was a lot of fun. We got to play with the older orchestra for that one. So there were so many violins on the stage that we had to stand. They didn't have enough seats for us. But it was fun. I'm glad I did it. Wish I'd practiced more. I've basically lost a lot of it. I picked up the violin about a couple of months ago, and I was able to kind of pick out one of the songs that was still in my head, but a lot of it's gone. I imagine I could pick it back up if I practiced enough, but it's been a hot minute. So, all right, back to you there, Andy.
All right, a word from our sponsor. This is ABNMO. Alrighty, very good there, Josh. That is cool. Play the violin. Maybe you could eke out Mary Had a Little Lamb or Yankee Doodle Dandy or something like that. But okay, well that's great. Well, we don't have any violins, although the professional orchestra that Snowbelt has well, they have lots of stringed instruments, but the concert band I play in, we don't have any stringed instruments. So it's all woodwinds and brass and percussion, and so. Okay, so you might actually appreciate and enjoy what we play since you were into that sort of thing. The ensemble you played in, was it strictly strings, or was it like an orchestra with brass and, the whole 9 yards there?
Yeah, I think, so when I was in the youngest version of the orchestra, it was called the Camerata Strings, and that's like 8 and 9 year olds. So they were just strings. But then as you worked your way up, for the latter, I don't know, maybe 8 years I was doing it or so. It was full orchestra. They had, the drummers in the back and then you had all the different wind sections, the woodwind section, the percussion off in the back. I remember they had what were those giant? Were they basses? Because I know there's cello. The cellos are the big stringed instruments, and then I can't remember the giant ones. I think it's a bass. The double bass, something like that. But anyways, yeah, no, it was the full 9 yards. So it was pretty cool, especially when the winds back there they got going. They could really blow the roof off the building.
Yes, those bass violins with a double bass. I don't know. Yeah, they're almost as cool as a pipe organ with the way they rattle the floor. Yeah, you can get some really low frequency out of that. And actually, a pipe organ is probably one of my favorite instruments, only because I guess it's a really wide dynamic range. Anywhere from rattling the windows and the floor, and it could get pretty high in pitch too. So. But, some of the Catholic churches I know still have pipe organs. Most of the other, especially the ones that have more contemporary services, they don't even have pianos anymore. Certainly don't have organs. I'm not crazy about an electric organ. They're okay, but I really, really like a pipe organ.
Oh, we should have brought you on a tour of St. Mary's when you came for the game night. The pipe organ in there is over 100 years old, right? No, well, our pipe organ, it might be 100 years old. I can't remember because there was a certain point where it burned down, and they had to rebuild it. And I think lightning struck the bell tower, and chunks of that fell, and then the pipe organ caught on fire. Separately, but within months of each other, back in I don't know, it was the 40s or something like that. I'd have to look up the exact date, but I remember we looked when Lucy and I found out that was something that happened. We looked at each other and we're like, boy, we're glad we weren't the parish priest serving at that time, because that would be a disaster. It's a bad couple of months, but no, we'll have to. And if you're ever around, they do choir practice sometimes, and it's fun because Philip, our organist, he's a younger guy. What is he, 24, 25? He's my age, and he's a med student, but he plays on Sundays for us, and he's the music director at St. Mary's, and man, he can make that thing sing. It's awesome. So, and he's we discovered recently that he's a distantly related relative to our family, actually, to Lucy's family. So that was kind of cool. So we referred to him as Cousin Phil. But yeah, and it's cool too because we could take you up in the choir loft and show you around into the wind box. It's kind of cool when it's on because there's two doors you walk into. You walk into the first one, you close it behind yourself, and you open the second one, and the air pressure equalizes because it's pressurized in there, and your ears kind of pop, and then you walk in, take a look around at the little room, and it's all pressurized because the air's going through the pipes and everything, and it's pretty cool. It's a neat little old organ. There's some parts of it that are not working so good, and it could use a cleaning, but it's still cool that we get to use it every Sunday.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think I did meet the organist. He was about your not Nancy, Betty's age. Yeah, younger than me. Yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'd love to hear it. Play a couple hymns or something. You know, I guess I'm a old soul or something. I kind of like the old hymns and stuff like that, but most churches have moved away from that. So that would be cool. I'd love to take you up on that sometime and tour, check out the pipe organ and hear it, and yeah, just kind of go check it out. That would be great. That doesn't entirely surprise me that St. Mary's has a pipe organ, being just. Is it considered in downtown Akron or just outside of downtown Akron? I know it's very close to downtown Akron if it isn't in it.
I'd say downtown Akron. It's kind of on the cusp. It's closer to the highway than downtown. But I wonder. I don't know the area. I'm newer to the area, so I'm curious. Like if it was more a part of downtown, and maybe downtown shrunk a lot over the years, because we saw some older pictures of the area, and there were other buildings surrounding it that made it seem more like a part of downtown, but now there's just empty lots there. So, but we always say it's in downtown Akron. It's close enough for us.
How are things going?
Yeah, I noticed there's quite a divide there between north and south of 277. You know, you go on the other side of the freeway, and it's like a no man's wasteland. Of course, north, you know, you hit St. Mary's in about a block or two, and then another couple blocks up here in the middle of downtown Akron. So, yeah, that's why I was wondering there. But yeah, I'd very much like to make it to another game night. Was it?
I'm curious. Can you tell me?
You know, sounds like it was really well attended. Was it as well attended or better than it was in May? I know with May it was.
How did it go for you?
You probably had what? Over 30, I'd say.
It was really nice over there.
Yeah, May we broke the record 35, and that was the most well attended we've had. And then this time it was like 25 to 30, I'd say. I kind of lost track, but I'd say it was around 25 or 30, so still pretty good. We knew it was going to be hard to beat last month, but it was kind of cool. It went well. Denny and John Paul, Lucy's siblings, they brought the groups down to see the tunnel between the school and the church, and the bell tower and everything, so that was a lot of fun. So I don't remember if I told you. I think I told you. I don't remember if I told you the story about how when the school kids back in the day, back when there were nuns teaching, they would go from the church in the morning. They would go over to the school, and they'd see the nuns in the church. And by the time they got to the school, the nuns were there, and they're like, "How the heck are they in both places at once?" They thought they could bilocate, but it turns out that the nuns just ran through the tunnel to get there first. So I thought that's a fun little story.
Others doing other bands. I don't know.
Yeah, this is APA. Well, I think you told me that story. It was like the passageway was like behind the kitchen or something.
Yep, roger that. I'm surprised we didn't take you guys down there if we didn't, but we'll have to show you next time you come.
Well, okay. Well, it was just me. I don't know, but yeah, I'd like to come again. I know I'm kind of exceeded. I just turned 40 here, Josh, and I think the maximum age limit is what, 25 or 30 or something. Are you going to officially expand the age at some point, or are you just going to leave it where it is?
That whole adapter on the end there, but no big deal.
We make the rules. It's just whatever. We have everybody from 12. I think Ben's 12, right? So you're 40, I think. And there was another lady who was there. I don't know how old Renee is, but she's close to your age, so it's not a problem. We were thinking maybe it does lean more adult than it does like somebody Ben's age, so I was telling Lucy maybe we should restrict it to more the upper age groups as opposed to he's just a little young. He's like it's like the border of like okay, I don't know, but everybody's still.
Well, it was also Mr. Wilson's first field day, and he had left him home while we went and set up, and then I didn't get him over there till it was late. It was almost dark, and he didn't get used to the people. He didn't get, in the daytime there where he would have got used to everybody. So he barked a lot at night. But he was a hit, and he had a good time, and eventually around 12:30, I took him, and we went into the tent, and we went to bed, and he calmed down, and then maybe only a couple times he jumped up and heard somebody walk by, because we were like on the end, and people were walking by us to go up to the restrooms, and he would bark. But all in all, he was a really good boy. For being in a tent, I did keep him on a leash so he wouldn't escape from me, because, nothing's new. Everything was new there for him. But yeah, it was really fun. I loved it. I can't wait to set up outside again somewhere. Maybe try some POTA. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, I personally haven't done POTA yet, except on the hunter side of things. But I love the idea of working radio outdoors. I do set up occasionally out in the backyard or the side yard, and in the evening I'll sit out there this time of year. It's when it's not sticky or raining, and I'll operate whether HF or like this rag chewing on the 2 meters. But yeah, there's something about radio outside, and it sounds like you guys camped as well. And not surprising, it sounds like your dog behaved very well, considering all things considered. And I would bark a little bit sometimes if I heard something stirring in the night myself. W2 JLS for ID.
W8WKY.
Yeah, it's pretty hectic. It's been a pretty hectic week for everything, let me tell you. So
My benefit
I
there.
was really
But I got a very patient and loving wife out of the deal. So. But anyways, what you up to tomorrow, Andy?
Pop-up camper. Well, we had a dilemma with that with critters over the winter.
Yeah,
so that wasn't fit to take, and the timeline of getting it fixed was something else. Concentrate on making sure we had everything that we needed as far as radio-wise. And so the idea went from pop-up camper to tent. Well, then that's another category. So, it's tub filling time. So stuff we were going to...
And I've gone there a couple times for concerts and such, and I have seen a few nuns. So I don't know if they have a convent there or not. It wouldn't surprise me if they did, because oh my gosh, they literally have hundreds of acres of property over there. So they probably have some buildings around. It stretches all the way from Auburn Road all the way back to the backside of Butternut Road. I know it's huge at campus there for Notre Dame. So anyway, what am I doing tomorrow? Well, going to work, and then afterward, I don't know. I may go to my Christian Men's Fellowship group. That's all the way in Canal Fulton. So I'm not sure if I want to do all that driving. I kind of did a whole lot of driving and then some during field day, so I don't know. Why? Did you have something in mind tomorrow?
No, I was just curious what you're up to. I'm trying to... What are we doing tomorrow, hon? I gotta have her remind me, because I can't remember. But, my project manager at work told me they have an emergency out in Chardon that they may or may not send me out to go deal with, but it's with a technology that I'm only semi-familiar with. So I was like, is there anybody who might actually be a professional to send out there? Like, I'm self-taught in this platform. Like, this is, all right, this is the best you got? Me? Okay. Right, well, that's, all right. So we're going to see how that goes. And then I'm just trying to relax from the weekend, and today we tried to, this evening I tried to kind of relax a little bit, detox a little bit from the weekend. And I'm very, very, very much an introvert. I'm learning, and definitely have a social battery that I'm learning, I have to recharge from time to time. So that was kind of what today was try to recharge a little bit, and then tomorrow is video game night with my brothers. So we're going to try to do that, and then if we have any extra time. I mean, the house is doing pretty good packing-wise. We've got a couple of our dining room chairs wrapped up in this shrink wrap stuff, and Lucy's got them stacked in the hallway. So, but the more and more that we're cleaning out, the more and more room there is to walk around, which is kind of nice. So that's a plus. So so that's what we're doing tomorrow, and then Wednesday we've got a Zoom meeting for a church event we're helping plan. So it's just one thing after another. There's always something to do, right?
Well, yeah, this is AB8MO. That's great to hear that things are coming along well. So, yeah, I guess you do have an extra week to get out now, since I think, yeah, you told me that the, well, soon-to-be former homeowner of the house you're moving into needed some more time to pack, and I don't know if they're going to clean, or depends on the person, or just to get stuff out. So I imagine you're going to have plenty of room in your new house. I mean, how cramped with furniture is your apartment, or was it? You know, I mean, was it to the point where you had a hard time walking around, or you just have a small amount right now?
We just had a smaller amount of room to walk around, and like, you know, there's stuff like in front of the entertainment center here. We've got this this chair that will rock the baby back and forth on its own, and then we've got her playmat right next to it. So like things like that too have taken up space. But so we have a couch and we had a love seat, but I took the love seat to my dad's house so that I could have room to set up this folding table that has all my radio stuff on it. I needed a project space. So in the bedroom we've got our two. She's got a desk where she's done her work, and then, you know, I've got another white folding desk in there. But the monitors take up most of the monitor bases take up most of that desk. I didn't have space for radio equipment on there, and my soldering iron and all that stuff. So it's been nice to have this, but it'll be nice to have even more room in the other house. We won't have nearly enough to fill up, but it will have enough to. It'll be plenty usable. My dad even has another couch and another love seat that he offered us for the basement if we want it. So it's interesting when you go to move, because everybody's like, hey, would you like this? Would you like this? Would you like this? And it's incredibly generous, but it's like, man, there's a lot of stuff. Like Lucy's aunt offered us a 60-inch TV, and we're like, no, that's very generous, but we're good. we got one already. We're good. You know, we don't need another one. So, but yeah. So we should be all right. It'll be good, and I'm excited to have you look at the backyard and see what you think we could do for antenna wise. Will be wise. I don't know if you'll be able to help move on the 8th, or if not. If either way, it's okay. If you can't, but be good to see you, and we'll have some pizza for everybody who helped us move, and it shouldn't take super long, but it'll be. Let me take a break for time. I actually just got today was the last day to get the kit that the Sarah Club is. They're doing a project build. It's 100 and I don't remember how big it was. Basically, it's an antenna that can do 80 through, I think, 10 meters. And I was like, oh, that'd be an interesting build to do. So I'm not sure if our backyard will be big enough to hold it, but even if it's not, they said you can cut it down so that it's good for 40 through 10 or 6, I can't remember, and it's a little bit shorter, so that I imagine at least that could make it in the backyard. So it'll be interesting to see what options we can do in the backyard there. KE8VK8 for ID.
All right, Josh, KEVKA, this is AP8MO with a kitty cat who has bad breath. She must have just ate or something. Her breath stinks. But anyway, she's crawling all over me, which is typical. Yeah, I think I can do the 8th. I was kind of going back and forth about my church has got a men's camp out on June 30th and to July 1st, so I guess I could participate in that. Still haven't decided whether I want to do that. I don't have a tent or a sleeping bag, and it's separate. You got to bring all your meals. I'll probably just pack up some sandwiches. I'll be perfectly happy with that. With just some cold sandwiches and some chips or something. I don't know. I don't mind camping, but I don't, cooking over a campfire is no big deal, I guess, to me. Maybe roast a few wieners, that'd be about it. But, yeah, I think I can, I don't think I got anything going on the 8th of July. I'll double check, but I'm pretty sure that I can help you out a little bit. I can't imagine it's going to take too long. You're just moving out of an apartment. You're not exactly moving out of a mansion. But maybe you are. Maybe your apartment's massive and I just don't know. So you mentioned about when you get into your new digs, are you going to, you said you were just going to strap up a J-pole, but is it possible to talk you into something dual band since you do have the 991 Alpha and it does do UHF? At least I don't know if, I think it's been argued J-poles can maybe be made dual band, but I don't know how well they work. I know they work very, very well as a mono band antenna, but I'm not sure how well they work as a dual band. This is AP8MO.
Well, the J-pole I'm running on right now, I stole the plans off of the Sarah Club website, and it's their, what is that, the 2-meter and 70-centimeter J-pole that is made out of EMT conduit and some threaded rods, and it seems to work okay. I know it doesn't have a ton of gain, so there might be better options to go with. I was just thinking for like immediately getting on the air to strap that up, but I am definitely open to other options for both HF and VHF UHF, because I want to have, since we're going to be here a while, I want to have a decent setup that I'll be able to enjoy. And I know there's other options too, like doing a beam. I know my buddy Tom has a beam, and he uses that on UHF VHF. So I know there's other options too that and my knowledge of how to set that up is limited, but I'm sure there's plenty of resources to help me figure out how to get that stuff mounted and set up and go from there. So I did look up the elevation of the house. I think it's around 1,100 feet above sea level. So I think it's a little lower than where we're at in Parma right now, but where we're at in Parma is a pretty high point. So, but I am 100% open to different ideas. I want to kind of brainstorm what would be the best thing to do for this corner lot setup.
All right, word from our sponsor. This is AP8MO. Yeah, sounds good there, Josh. Well, if you have it and it's available, it's a dual band, hey, put up what you have. Don't run out and get something new if it's working okay. See how it works. It's a very long antenna, but a GP9 works very, very well on both 2 meters and 440, but it's like It's like a 17-foot antenna. I have a GP3. It works very well on UHF, but it kind of sucks on 2 meters. You know, I don't know that it works much better than a quarter wave. It's got supposedly 6 dB a gain. I'm not sure I believe that. It just never works. It just doesn't work very well on 2. It radiates. That's about it. But I know one friend of mine up in Michigan that I talked to on HF, and he upgraded from a GP3 to a GP9, and he said it was absolutely worth the upgrade because the GP9 works a whole lot better than the GP3. But if you're limited on size, you know, the GP3 is only like 3 feet long. You know, that was mine because when I originally had it mounted, it was kind of side mounted on the house and couldn't handle the wind load. But I got it on a tripod, and I think it could handle something. I think I could have a longer antenna if I could and wanted to. Oh, yeah, that's right. So, I mean, you have a couple tall trees in your yard or not? I mean, probably the easiest, you know, and most discreet way is just some wire antennas. I don't know. I mean, but you need, it definitely would help to have a couple tall trees in the yard, which you may or may not have in the city. Some do, some don't. This is AB8MO.
That has got to be the tallest 2 meter, 70 centimeter antenna I've ever seen. 18 feet. I'm looking at it, and I'm sitting here. It's got to do more than just VHF, UHF, and it's those 2 bands. That's crazy. That's awesome. But I'm looking at the gain, and it's like, let's see, on 2 meters it's 8.5, and on 70 centimeters it's almost 12. That's awesome. Jeez. All right. Man, that's crazy. Oh, Lucy's telling me it's about time to go to bed. All right. I'm having a brain blank. You asked me a question. Crap. What was the question you just asked me? Oh, trees. Yeah, we got 2 big ones. So I think maybe we'll be able to figure out how to string something up there. If not that full antenna that I'll be building with the Sarah Club that can do 80 meters, if that's too long, then I'm hoping we can cut it down. It's trimmable. Like it'll be. I could just do the 40 meter version. So we'll see about that. But yeah, hopefully there's just the 2. One is on the back half of the house, and the other's on the front half of the house. So I don't know if you can. I guess you can go over the house, but yeah, we'll just have to. It'll be interesting to have you look at it on the 8th and just see what you think. So, but all right, I'm gonna throw it back to you one more time, then I'm gonna hop off here and get ready for bed. KE8VKA.
All right, Josh. Well, it's been a pleasure talking with you, and thank you to Lucy for letting me borrow Josh for a while. Better go before she gets mad. Well, I don't know. Does she ever get angry? Or maybe she just gets angry and doesn't tell anybody. But it sounds like that would be ideal because for a dipole, you know, I guess, you know, you could use an off-center fed, which, you know, would work fine, or even just a center-fed dipole. But the off-center fed would probably be better because you probably have one tree that's further from the house than the other, and, you know, you can have the feed point kind of close to the house. So if you know, you kind of string it up, I don't know, I guess you could do, I don't see why you couldn't do it over the house as long as it's, you know, way up in the air or just close to the house, but you'll have the feed point that'll be closer. So that actually might work better, having a tree in the front and a tree in the back. So, yeah, I have my friend Steve said I could borrow his tennis ball launcher, which is what he used to help me get my loop up at about 50 feet in the air. And, yeah, it's just a matter of getting it up there. And, you know, 40-meter dipole, and I still haven't given my buddy Mike back his tape measure. It's like 100-foot or 200-foot tape measure. And, we can run a rough estimate, and we can have a quick idea if you can hit an 80-meter dipole or not. I think you need, about 160 feet? I forget the dimensions. Whatever, 230, let's see, it'd be 468 over frequency of megahertz, whatever that is. So, probably approximately 200 feet. You need double that for, maybe not. It's probably not quite that long, come to think of it. But anyway, we'll figure it out there, Josh. All right, you have yourself a good night. We'll catch you later. 7-3, my friend. This is AB8MO.
Sounds good there, Andy. Yeah, that sounds good. We'll figure it out. I think you're right. I think around 160 feet. That's the number that keeps on coming to my mind that I read. But all right, and if you end up going on a camping trip next weekend, have fun with that. I know I always enjoy the camping trip, and if I don't enjoy the camping trip, I enjoy the memory of the camping trip. I was telling Lucy, we've done. My buddy Adam and I have done some trips where it's in the moment it's very uncomfortable and unpleasant, but you look back and you remember all the cool stuff you did. That's the important part. So all right, you have a good time there. Have a good day at work tomorrow, and we'll catch you later. Good talking to you. Thanks for shooting me that text and give me a call on the radio. This is KEAVKA, and I'll be clear with AB8MO. 7-3 is my friend.
All right, it's been a pleasure. I'll catch you later, Josh. AB8MO off and clear. Oh boy, hi Mike. Boy, you sound like you're sitting next to me. You got a great signal. Yep, sounds like you do. You're full quieting. I don't know how much power you're running, but you probably don't need. If you're running high power, you probably don't need it. Did you get the flex back? Is it working again? Oh well, that doesn't sound too hard. What's to keep this new one from eventually getting corrupt again? Okay, so basically, with your good power connections, hopefully you're not going to have a problem there. That's kind of crazy. That well, it is basically a computer in a box with a bunch of with a radio built into it. So, yeah, okay. I'm glad that that worked out for you there, Mike, and it was just a matter of replacing the SD card. With as much as they charge for those things, at least they could do is just send you a new card, right? Yeah, I got you there. I don't know that I've met anybody who didn't like their flex that they had, but it's a little bit beyond my budget right now. Maybe one of these days I'll get one, but or get lucky and somebody might be selling one in a ham fest for a good price that actually works. I saw somebody at the Cuyahoga Falls Fest was selling one. I don't know what the price was, but I think Bob WB at OBQ told me that it was, he saw it too, and it was a very reasonably priced flex, and so I don't know. Anyway, Mike, yeah, I'm going to get on out of here. Yeah, everything's working great. Are you on the flex now, or on a different radio? Well, okay. The legal way, although I guess you could always say testing, but usually somebody, if I ever throw my call out and just say testing, usually somebody comes back and wants to talk to me. And I'm like, well, okay, I'll be nice, but I really wasn't planning on talking to anybody. I just wanted to see if it works. So, but that's great there, Mike. Yeah, it's definitely working. Like I said, I don't know how much power you got it set, but it's more than enough. You're absolutely full quieting, so you the PL right, or you wouldn't be getting in. So you're hearing it. The repeater's hearing you, and that's all that really matters. And I trust you're hearing it well. Ever since I got it replaced, or back up to at least 100 watts. I'm told that these Quantars can do 125, but I'd be willing to bet it's probably set about 100. We probably don't need any more than that. Yeah, we were having trouble with it for a while, and finally the power output just got down to like nothing. We're like, okay, well, I think we ran this thing into the ground. So, with the suggestion of the guy who does all the maintenance of the repeaters, like these Motorola Quantars, they're definitely worth the money, and I've been extremely happy with it. I don't think the last repeater we had as good of a receiver, and it's back up just about to where I remember it. So you dial the power back, and there's just oh my gosh, you have to listen really closely. There's just a small amount of hiss, and I mean just a little bit. So, you could leave it wherever you have it now. What is it, 5 watts or something? Yeah, definitely, and the guy that we bought it off of, aligned everything, and we put it on the station monitor. I know Dave did, and it's within like 5 hertz or something. It's really, really, really close, and right at about 5 kilohertz deviation, which is where it should be. Yeah, and I'm very happy with the way it sounds too. It almost sounds I was switching between, a guy I was talking to up here in Burton, I'm really close, and I was switching between the output and the input, and there's very, very little change in audio quality between simplex, the input frequency, and what's coming out. So it's doing minimal flavoring, and that's what I like on a repeater. Because, most radios sound decent on simplex, and basically what goes in is what comes out. It's not flavoring it, and I'm very, very happy with it. I'm glad that we got it. Now it's just a matter of getting it back on All-Star, which is taking a little while, but we'll eventually get it back on All-Star and be linking it in probably with the beacon net and usually the barometer net. The people who the barometer netizens in the morning have really been missing the All-Star, because we had quite a few people that were actually able to hit this repeater, and they were able to hit 3.9. I don't think so. As far as I know, it's just standalone. Just one standalone repeater system. And I mean, if we want to link it, that's what the All-Star's for, but it's not linked to RF to any other system that I'm aware of. Yeah, that was. I mentioned to Josh about he bought himself an FT991 Alpha, which I also have the same radio, and was just wondering if his antenna was just a mono band or a dual band. And he said it's a dual band, so he's going to be moving to the Elliott neighborhood, which I think there's at least 1 or 2 hams over there that he's going to be within earshot of, that live in that same general area of Akron. So he's moving from an apartment to a house there. He's got a let's see here, a daughter that's about 6 months old or so. So definitely need to get out of the apartment, having a growing family. I don't blame him for moving out and actually buying a house, that's for sure. Yeah, that's what we're going to determine. I'm going to help Josh move in. He's going to have a moving in party, and that's what he was asking about. We're going to go there and see if we can cram in a 80-meter off-center fed dipole. And I mean, he said he's got a tree in the backyard and one in the front yard, so that does sound promising. Oh, absolutely. Yeah, and I have access to various launching tools. I know I went to the W8WKY field day, and one of the guys, Rick, NANOQ, he had a launcher, and he was launching tubes of caulk. I like the idea. The tubes of caulk, I don't know, I'd be afraid to get conked in the head with that thing, that's for sure. But a buddy of mine, he launches tennis balls, and he said the weight of the tennis balls themselves is not enough, so he put a bunch of, he's a fisherman, he likes to fish, so he cut the ball open and stuffed it full of lead sinkers, and that works a whole lot better, at least able to get the ball down having a bunch of lead sinkers in it. So he helped me put up my 160-meter loop, and I'm going to see if I can help Josh get a dipole. He's looking to build an off-center fed for 80 meters, and I think that'll be a good choice for him. Oh yeah, I was surprised too, but yeah, it did it. It launched it, over the tree, and they were switching antennas around, and the antenna they switched to apparently did work a whole lot better than what they had. I don't know whether they were changing antennas or trying to reposition them in the trees. At least at the site they were at, there was a pine tree or two to work with, so they had a couple really, really tall trees. So, yeah, I was like, holy cow, a tube of caulk. I thought the same thing. I was like, I don't want to be whacked at that thing. It's bad enough trying to launch smaller projectiles, and yeah, if you're launching them with a lot of PSI. I know my buddy Steve came over with his launcher, and I kind of got a valley in the front, so I had to I could only launch it from the road. You can't launch it the other way. The last thing I need is a lead weight tennis ball going through somebody's windshield while they're driving up and down the street. That would not be good. But I think he cranked that sucker up to 75 PSI. He shot that thing. I got about 2.5 acres, and I'd say he shot that thing at least an acre. It was way in the backyard. So like, no, probably don't need that much pressure. Yeah, I thought about slingshot. There was a guy that I talked to on HF up in Michigan. He used what's called a dummy launcher that you use blank shells, ammo, blank ammo. I don't know. I don't know a firearm, but you get the idea. But there's really no way to control that. You know, if you've got something that you use under, with the tire pressure, some kind of tire pump or some kind of pump to pump it up, and you can adjust the pressure. That gives you a whole lot better control of it. And at least with the device I was using, I'm going to need a little practice with it. My buddy Steve was the one launching it. He had a whole lot more experience, but he said he'd let me use it. And, you get the hang of it. Yeah, it works out pretty good, and you can launch it pretty good. The only thing better than a launcher is a drone. And I know a couple guys who use drones. They have like a claw thing on it, and man, you could place that thing precise right at the peak of a pine tree or something. You can't get it any higher. So that's the only thing that would beat a good launcher. Well, I hope you get that Kiwi back up and running, because I actually used it. It's close enough to me that I can test how my audio is and how my signal is on HF and whatever. And all the Kiwi, there used to be one in I think like Avon or something, run by a group in Lake County, and that's off the air now. That was a really good one. It's hard to find something that has a good 160 receive antenna. I think you had that 80-meter double bazooka, and that was a good choice. Worked well on 160, and the station in Lorain County also worked well on 160 meters. And yeah, I know what you mean, like down in Coventry or something, there was a guy, and yeah, I wondered that too. The one time I tried it, it was like, I'm not sure there's an antenna on this thing, because I couldn't even hear a noise for it. I'm like, this is too quiet to but okay. All right, that sounds good, Mike. I hope you get it up and running, because I kind of miss having access to a local Kiwi SDR receiver. The nearest decent one that I know of is all the way, you got all the way, I think, around Pittsburgh is the closest decent one that I can find now. Well, there you go. People be lining up to use those things. I noticed that on the Kiwi SDRs, some people had them configured for like 8 channels, but you didn't have a waterfall or a scope, and I think that when it was configured to 4, that you could have that. I don't know. I don't know that your SDR ever saw that much action. I always, would see a couple people on it, but I don't know that it would ever, I imagine that you could monitor the connections and see what kind of activity on it. Did it ever have times when it was absolutely filled up? Yeah, I noticed that. A lot of people do that. I know you had one for, oh shoot, what is that? There was some kind of HF, political HF net. I know you had it up there. What was that, on 3995 or something? I can't think of the name of it. The name of it escapes me, but I saw you had a marker for that, and I listen to that once in a great while. Although I'm close enough, I don't really need an SDR. I can usually hear just about everybody on it. I think most of the stations there run some power, so that helps too. But yeah, I hope you get it up there, Mike. Yeah, I mean, a lot of them are kind of, and it's really the antenna more than anything else. I think the Kiwis sound great. They really do. Even if you're listening to AM broadcasts, it makes the AM broadcast sound good, actually. So I hope you get it back up. I really do. I do miss it. I miss having a local good SDR. Like I said, there's like one near Pittsburgh that I found was a good one. Another one, Elida, I never could figure that out. Yeah, that seems to be one of the better Ohio ones. Like I said, the one in Lorain County was good, but that one hasn't been up in months. And there's one in southern Indiana. I don't know what it is, but that one is a good one. And then a couple up in Michigan that I use sometimes for the Wolverine single sideband net, Tustin, and then there's another one up in Traverse City. Both of those are really good ones too. I could just barely get a signal in them this time of year, but in the fall and winter, I nail those ones good even in the daytime. Anyway, Mike, I'm going to get on out of here. I know this is a very long signal check, but it was great catching up with you. And yeah, I'd be interested when you get that Kiwi back up. Let me know, and I'd love to have access to it again. I did. Let me drop it a sec. I do know there was a guy in Kent, I think I talked to. He built himself a transmitter or something, and he was using your Kiwi to receive, which I thought was kind of funny. He's like, I'm using WB8CXO's Kiwi to receive here. And, there's a little bit of a delay, but it's not bad. I guess you're not running full duplex, so a 1 or 2 second delay is no big deal. So anyway, Mike, I'll let you tie the ribbons on it. Great chatting with you, and I'm sure I'll catch you around on the nets or otherwise. WB8CXO, this is AB, and I'm out. Yeah, I think you're right. I noticed that sometimes there would be descents, and I often wondered if it was a contest station or something. And yeah, I probably stole the antenna, and we're too lazy to put it back on. Have a good night, Mike. 7-3. I'll catch you later. This is AB at MO. Good night.
Wendy. Well, that's good. Your dad was a ham, or is a ham. That makes it nice. Get a partner when you get your driver's license and you get out and about, or even when you grow up and get married. You can always talk at home to your dad. That makes it nice. Yeah. So, okay there, Henry. This is KC3 and QND, and John, I think I'm going to stay by 73 too. I have a puppy here that is ready to go to bed. I have to go get him his treats, and I have some stuff that I got to put in the refrigerator that we had left over from supper. So I'm going to say 73 to KE8YPY and W2JLS. Everybody have a wonderful evening, and we will get together and talk again. And there is also a net on 145 700 Wednesday night that I'm going to be on. I guess I don't have it this week. The food net, and there was also a net on that frequency on Thursday at 8. So the Wednesdays at 7 and Thursday at 8. So with that, Henry and John, have a good night, 73s. I'll talk to you again.
KC3QND, Miss Jeannie, always a pleasure. Nice surprise. I haven't checked in just randomly in a spell, and with you coming back, maybe I should check in more often. You have a good night, and that was fun chatting here tonight with you and Dustin and Mr. Henry and Chris and ACP as well, if he's still listening. Yeah, very good. Take care, Jeannie. And Henry, good on your dad for getting you into the hobby. I see he's got a QRZ page as well, Mr. Craig. Tell him he's raising a fine young man, and you're doing a great job there, holding your own on the radio. So nice to meet you tonight, and you probably should get to bed. It's 11:18 p.m. So I'll pass it back to you for one more over, and I'll say 73 after that. W2JLS, back to you, sir.
W2JLS is 885EY. Yeah, I'm probably going to get to bed. Probably on the barometer net tomorrow morning. So, 73. And I'll see you guys later. KE8YPY. Bye.
You're all right, Henry. Good man. Good night. 73.
W8WKY.